Lesson 1. The world we work in is VUCA. As we've been unpacking the attributes of an orchestrator, one of the key aspects, number 6, is about guiding the narrative by confronting reality. What is reality in our environment? With the pressures of rapid change, tectonic forces at play in our environment and across the globe, socioeconomic challenges and upheaval, the rapid advancement of technology, the shift in how people hire and who takes what position, there is a lot of volatility. On top of that, there's a lot of uncertainty in where your company will go next, complexity internally to align and enable the commercial system, and a lot of ambiguity. What's really required to tackle root cause challenges? It can be quite a daunting task to think through how you impact the and the infrastructure and the environment around you. One of the ways in which you can break that down is through a framework. When you look at disorder, it falls on 4 axes, if you will, 4 groupings. There's simple problems, complicated problems, complex problems, and total chaos. This is called a Sinafin framework. And I like this because, yes, it's busy and there's a lot to figure out, but this disorder requires different situations. It creates different situations and different ways of navigating to get from A to B. That's the key here. Just look at this, right? If you didn't know where you are, you feel like you're lost in the woods. Well, welcome to the world of disorder. You have to gather information, identify the domain, and move on. When you believe that everything is simple, everything is ordered, and past successes make you invincible to future failure, before you know it, the chaotic domain will grab you by the throat and drag you into crisis. And I think that's a big challenge I see in enablement, where we believe that we have everything we need. And one of the challenges of being good at what you do is believing that you have everything figured out. So I want to commend you for being in this course because you recognize that it's about growth. There are many people in today's business world who are going to basically rest on their laurels and focus on what they already know. And they will double down on what they already know instead of embracing growth to figure out how to navigate the VUCA environment. When you look at complex and complicated, just take a look at this visual and what jumps out at you. I want you to pause the video and think through these things. I want you to write down and maybe even take notes on the words and phrases that stand out to you, especially in the complex, complicated, and chaotic domains. These are problems that require a different problem-solving approach. You cannot take a simple approach and tackle a complex problem. You cannot take a complicated approach to solving problems and tackle chaos. Now, these things describe a way in which to filter the challenges you're experiencing and turn those challenges into possibilities. And you need a different type of skill set to figure that out. And it requires you to engage in a way that brings you to a clear observation, that helps you tap into being empathetic, that helps you bring together your skills of synthesis. All of these things, as you engage, will help you to figure out what to do. If you trust your human instinct and you engage with curiosity, you will figure it out. So lean into these challenges, lean into them and recognize they're not going away. And use that to your advantage to figure out how you can learn. I know this is easier said than done, but remember, control is a myth. And the opposite of control is enable. So take a minute here and look through this visual and think it through as we explore VUCA. Pause the video. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at a online video here. So the world we work in is VUCA. It's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? And more importantly, what kind of leadership skills do you need? And what does it mean to the people that you work with? And how will you develop the right approaches to tackle this and confront this head on? You know, a lot of us are taught to control the world around us, and we're taught to scope things down into things that make sense and to simplify and make it actionable. The challenge with that is, in order to cope with today's VUCA environment, it often means we're in our inbox doing whatever's in there, as opposed to developing a plan and disciplines to move forward in a more proactive way and engaging in the ecosystem around us. It's a different skill set and it's a different approach, but that's where the value is as an orchestrator. What are some of the negative impacts that you'll be confronting when it comes to VUCA? And this is where you get to shine. This is where orchestration and the idea of being an orchestrator really comes into play. This idea of people will not reskill themselves, but you are. People will struggle on long-term projects and near-term execution. They won't know what to do, but you'll figure that out because you're in this course. Others will make bad decisions based on yesterday's logic and data that's years old, and techniques and approaches that are based on what everybody else does. But you won't do that because you'll learn approaches that help you tune into what's really happening now. Change fatigue will sap employee motivation and engagement. And that's where you'll lean in and realize that through engagement, even though that's something that requires effort, through that engagement, that's how you get things done. And everybody works remotely. You'll find yourself leading in an asynchronous world. The idea of everybody get in a room together and figure it out together, it doesn't work. And that idea of figuring stuff out and being creative requires different techniques and approaches in an all digital asynchronous environment. And I love that quote that Peter Drucker shared. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it's to act with yesterday's logic. Projects and strategies will change. The company will constantly adapt. You'll have new global realities. You will have to learn to deal with and lean into rapid change. You'll never get enough information. You'll always lack visibility because that lack of visibility is part of the ecosystem we operate within. You'll have feelings of insecurity. You'll be fearful, doubtful, and you won't know what to do. But if you lean into that, you can turn that into a strength to focus on customers, to test new offers, and learn to pivot and follow the momentum. There'll be so much information and so many confusing and often conflicting points of view that refining that will be the world of other people who want to analyze that and slice it every way they can. But in your world as an orchestrator, you'll lean into the ecosystem and learn to appreciate the interdependence of the different people involved. And that interdependence is how you'll unlock value. While some may struggle with difficulties around projects and mixing responsibilities and get paralyzed with the lack of direction, you'll learn how to clarify roles and maintain a pragmatic approach to encouraging consistency by focusing on the facts and communicating clearly what the outcomes are and enrolling people in it. This is a different way of working. It's a different way of adding value. And it all starts with VUCA because VUCA is a condition that is the new normal. It is the new reality. And our industrialized view of the world and how we like to break things down into minute, simple chunks, it doesn't work that way anymore. So how can you lead and how can you create a future that you cannot necessarily predict? Well, in that video we just shared, it's about anticipating. It's about skating ahead and skating to the puck. You're going to have to create vision and have clear focus on where you want to be. You'll have to confront uncertainty and figure out what others are doing in your industry and figure out how you listen and synthesize inputs from a variety of different sources. You'll have to learn techniques to tackle root cause and learn how to communicate and promote teamwork and collaboration and factor in other people's perspectives. And you'll have to be adaptable, and you'll have to be willing to change and encourage people to learn new skills and stimulate debate and embrace productive friction where everybody may not agree so that you can get to the best answer. These are the techniques that you'll learn as you work through these courses. And this is the environment that you're in. Learn to lean into it, learn to embrace it. It is the new normal. And there's a lot out there on the internet. On Google it, you can Google it, you can search for it, go read up on VUCA and watch some more videos. The key takeaways here there are repeatable challenges that can get in your way of orchestration. But these challenges, they're new normal. This is the ecosystem world. It's an interconnected global world, constantly changing and dynamic. These challenges are called VUCA. Instead of trying to run from them or ignore them, lean into them and turn them into positives. Learn how to be more agile, more certain, how to tackle root cause, and how to get more clear. Volatility creates challenges, and so you'll have to counter that with speed. Uncertainty creates challenges, so you'll have to counter that with decision-making approaches. Complexity will create challenges, and so you'll have to learn how to create collective action. And then ambiguity can create challenges, so you'll have to learn techniques and approaches to create shared understanding. You will stub your toe, you will not be perfect, and that's okay. But the key thing is to practice this and learn it as you experience it. A lot of these things that I'm talking about can only be learned by experiencing them. Taking the time to try these things is more important than me giving you the exact right words to say. This feeling you have of what do I do next and how do I do that? If that's what you're feeling, be curious about that and lean into it. It's okay. And that's what we'll do in the community. That's what we'll do to help each other and take the next steps. All right, I'll see you on lesson 2, where we talk about some of the challenges and how to overcome them.